The Venezuelan president, unelected president, Maduro, has been captured and arrested by U.S. troops with no U.S. casualties. This just happened earlier this month. How did a ham radio play a part in that role? Did it play a part at all? And what can we expect from future communications efforts into and out of Venezuela? Let's take a look at this today. Browsing around and finding some stuff on the internet, I didn't find any direct relationship to ham radio or even two-way radio. Of course, they were using encrypted comms when the U.S. Army went in there and seized the guy. They took Maduro into captivity along with his wife. They arrested him. They pulled him out, put him on a boat, put him on a helicopter and whatnot, and brought him back to the United States. And he's currently in custody right now for war crimes against humanity or something. I don't remember exactly what it was for. He was a dictator. He had come to power illegally in the country. And from what I've been reading online, most of the country is applauding the efforts that he's no longer there. So what about amateur radio? Was two-way radio comms used in this at all? I'm sure the Army has encrypted comms of their own. Okay, we're not going to talk about that today. I want to talk about civilian comms today. It's always a good idea to have some sort of alternative communications during protests, during skirmishes, during hostile takeovers, and yes, even during war or invasions. It's always a good idea to have some sort of external, decentralized communications tool. Venezuela faced frequent government-imposed internet restrictions and nationwide power blackouts. An example was in 2019, and it was blamed on attacks, but it was tied to infrastructure failure. Poor power grids. We've seen this before in the past with other countries. We've seen this before with Puerto Rico. Okay, so we experienced something like that in Texas in 2021. So this is not limited to only South American countries. Citizens and protesters turned to apps like Zello, which of course requires internet, for coordination, which the government blocked in 2014 and later periods. So you couldn't even use Zello after 2014. That was 12 years ago at the time of this recording. They blocked Zello 12 years ago. Okay, think about that. Think about opening Zello on your phone today and trying to communicate with family, and your government has blocked it for you. How would you like that? Two-way radios, including ham radios, often serve as an off-grid alternative in repressed regimes, enabling opposition networks when official channels fail. Amateur radio operators worldwide provide emergency and independent communications during government shutdowns of media and internet. And this happened often under Maduro. He would squelch internet, he would shut off the internet, he would suppress media, he wouldn't let his citizens watch media as it was happening outside of the country. He would feed them information that he wanted them to hear and nothing else. In Venezuela, ham radio supports disaster response like floods or blackouts and potentially dissident coordination, though no public evidence ties it directly to anti-Maduro activities. Similar uses occurred in other crises in Cuba and Iran protests in the past. Following Maduro's capture, emerging power vacuum. And this is coming from statements of surviving officials like Defense Minister Vladimir Padrino Lopez. Ham radio and two-way radios could play roles in humanitarian aid, opposition organizing, and military loyalist communications amid potential instability. So like we are trained, some of the test questions you will get on your amateur radio exam are around ARES and RACES. ARES is the Amateur Radio Emergency Service, and RACES is the Radio Amateur Civil Emergency Service. It's all based around EMCOM. There's a lot of EMCOM aspect, emergency communications aspect to amateur radio. There's a lot of questions on the test that you will be required to know a little bit about if you take your ham radio operator's test in the United States or anywhere. Other states and other countries might vary. I'm going to look up some details about obtaining an amateur radio license in the country of Venezuela, but that's not what we're talking about today. If you're interested in getting your amateur radio license inside of the USA, hamradioprep.com is where I would send you. Save a 20% discount on everything at hamradioprep.com with the coupon code of Jason20. They've got a new satellite communications course. They've got HF communications course. They've got Baofeng Basics courses, and they have an EMCOM course. They have a whole course dedicated to EMCOM. You can save 20% off of it or any of the license courses. That's who I recommend if you're going to get your amateur radio license, although it doesn't apply for Venezuela. Unfortunately, they only do USA. I asked them one time if they were going to do European ones, and I don't think they're planning to at this time, but maybe at some point in the future. I don't know. The problem with the Venezuelan dictatorship under Maduro is that he completely controlled the media. He completely controlled the media, and like I said, the news media sources, the internet availability to his citizens. He blocked social media platforms. He caused information blackouts, and in situations like this, decentralized tools like ham radio or mesh networks. Now, we've talked about this before, how Meshtastic and Meshcore is a decentralized communications tool. Limited to text messaging right now. I'm excited to see where it's going to go. And Meshtastic, unless you click the little little button that says ham radio operator and Meshtastic, then it turns off encryption because we're not allowed to encrypt messages as ham radio operators. But since Meshtastic, at least in the USA, is on the ITSM band, which is a public band, and encryption is allowed for general use on the public band, I don't click, because I'm also a citizen. I'm a ham radio operator, but I'm not limited to my ham radio license. I'm also a citizen, so I can use the 915 megahertz band inside the USA. I can turn on encryption. Don't run as a ham radio operator, just run as myself, and I can send encrypted messages back and forth on a decentralized platform like Meshtastic and Meshcore. So it's talking about how this could be a vital role for communications tools. If you don't want to do two-way radios, if you don't want to do voice comms over VHF, UHF, or even HF, CB radio HF, VHF radio like the 150 to 160 megahertz, whether it's a MERS channel, which is a USA channel system, they could use something similar to that. GMRS channels or the 460 megahertz channels above the amateur radio band. These can be decentralized and not controlled by anyone else because unlike a cell phone or a Starlink or a satellite or something that requires infrastructure, Meshtastic and ham radio and any kind of two-way radio, CB radio, does not require any infrastructure. So in other words, I can fire up a radio here and talk to you where you are on the next town over, the next state over with HF. We can get Meshtastic going in a certain area. We can put up nodes and they all connect to one another, but they don't connect to the internet. You just turn off MQTT. You run encrypted comms. Nobody can monitor it, or at least not very easily. And it's not controlled by a cell phone network or a Starlink satellite or some other sort of infrastructure that the government can take over and control or shut down or block or something like that. The great thing about amateur radio, and I've said this in many videos in the past, okay, get your ham radio license, go out, practice POTA, go out and talk on your repeaters, go out and talk on 146.52, FM simplex, do some 2-meter sideband, okay? And the great thing about doing this in times of non-crisis is that it prepares you and gets you used to using the radio. You kind of learn the nuances of what to listen for and what frequencies work and where to go and how to program certain CTCSS tones, certain offsets, how to use certain modes like sideband, CW, digital communications like FT8 or JS8 call, something like that over HF. But yeah, you can do that over 2 meters as well. So practice when it's not an emergency so that you're proficient when it becomes an emergency. I hope none of us ever have to go through anything like that, okay? And I'm glad that maybe the people of Venezuela now are going to get a little bit more freedom in their news media sources, in their internet being unblocked, in their social media platforms not being restricted anymore. But get on the amateur radio, make some contacts with Venezuela. I've contacted Venezuela via DX before. I've been out on POTA, had some Venezuela stations. When the 10-meter band is open, it's an excellent, excellent place to talk to South America countries all over the place. Venezuela, Brazil, Argentina, Chile, pretty much all of the South American countries down there come in really well when the 10-meter band is open. So make a contact to Venezuela this week if you can. Look for their call signs. Look for their call signs in amateur radio. And let me know what you think about this in the comments below. If you are in South America, if you're in Venezuela, and you're watching this channel, I really appreciate you. Put a comment below. Let me know what it's like down there. Let me know what you guys are doing down there. Let me know what kind of social media and news media sources that you're seeing now that Maduro is gone. 73 guys, thanks for watching today. And if you liked this video here, check out these over here because YouTube thinks you want to watch those next. We'll catch you next time.